We're almost halfway through the year, and a lot of people are running on empty without fully realizing it. Grow Therapy helps you find care that's covered by insurance before burnout becomes the baseline. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. And if something comes up, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/booknow to get started. That's growtherapy.com/booknow. growtherapy.com/booknow. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is sharing the message that connection is crucial because good relationships are an essential and sometimes overlooked component of mental well-being. If your relationships could use some strengthening, a licensed therapist from Talkspace can help. Therapy can help you communicate better with loved ones, repair conflicts, and understand how to address loneliness and build community. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a therapist within 2 days. You'll meet with your therapist online on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make personal connections a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Emotionally unavailable.
Okay, great. Cool. My ring light, because it gets knocked off this place all the time, is buzzing. Can you see it?
A little. I can't see. Oh, yeah, now I see it. But I don't really notice it until you mention it.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, welcome back to Emotionally Unavailable. I'm your host, Malisa Hepner, and I'm trying to get better about doing that. And you all may remember Ashana. Before I forget to say this, I will link all of our previous episodes in the show notes. So if I don't say that again, there you go. Welcome back.
Thank you. I miss you.
I miss you. How have you been? I know you're so busy. What's going on with you?
So busy. You know that lesson where like you learn to stop saying yes to so many things and you're like, I've got this, I'm good. Like I've learned how to say no. And then like for me, it cycles back around in another season because I get excited. And I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Okay, I'm going to do more of these things. And then I fill up my plate with all the things again. And I'm like, fuck, I did it again. So that's where I've been.
Why do I know exactly what you're talking about? Well, I'm not in that exact same position. This is my position, is that I said no to 90% of things for a very long time, very long. And then it clicked up to like 92% since Jake, right? And then I did some manifesting and I said, I'm open to receive these things and I'm receiving them, I'll tell you. Thankfully, to be honest, I'm receiving them at a decent pace to where it's not, I'm able to expand that capacity a little bit at a time. But now it's picking up. It's picking up a little bit. And I'm like, that's why I was having a freak out earlier because somebody was texting me that I just didn't want to deal with something right then. And then also what they needed from me wasn't working. And I just don't have tolerance for that. And so it all just like hit at once because I had not checked your message yet. And I'm like, I got fucking 10 minutes to wash my face for this, blah, blah, blah. And then I go and check and I'm like, oh, good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm really glad.
So that worked out actually. which is why I was like, oh, I can tell you think I'm mad at you. I'm not mad at you. And so, um,
Please annoy. I keep doing this.
well, no, yeah, I mean, I figured that's what you thought, but I was like, oh no, I am annoyed, but it doesn't have anything to do with you. So let me fix that really quick. But yeah, so it's interesting because all the things that I'm asking for are slowly trickling in, which means I'm going to put it this way. I feel like I'm expanding from all sides, from all angles, and it is not a bad thing at all. But in that stretch,
Yep.
there's some tension. We'll call it tension because
Yep.
that's the part. But I think for me, the really beautiful, important part is going, look at it. Don't lie. You are a little overwhelmed right now.
Yep.
What do you need to do for that? Like for today, not tomorrow,
Yeah.
right now. And I think part of my thing is also graduation season is upon us. And so there's lots and lots of things for the next week starting tomorrow. So I think with the shit I was dealing with today, I was already thinking about kind of how pressing tomorrow is going to be. But even that, I'm like, you know what? Why are you doing that? What do you need right now? And I
Yep.
think that's been this the cycle always comes back around, right? But I think for this one, for me, it's been very tender and loving, honestly, is the best way to describe it because I feel held. I'm getting what I asked for in the best way. Now, I will say this. It tries to throw in some bullshit too, it tries. It sure does. And how are you going to handle that? What are you going to do? And I have gotten so fucking solid on alignment on what is a yes and what is a no for me
Oh, I love
that I
that.
think that is what the big, like, I think the last time I still went round and round with this, I was still so scared to say
Mhm.
no to
Mhm.
stuff, to
Been
anything,
working
because
on
what if
that.
it's the wrong choice?
You've really been working on that. I've noticed. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
dang, like she did. That was good. Like I look up to you in that one because you have really. I want to like shout you out here. You've worked really hard on that.
Thank you. I really have. But I don't think until you started the conversation this way that I understood that that was such a crux of all of my problems. Like,
Mhm.
not even the I can't say no, it's the I don't trust myself to
Mhm.
say yes or no. I was questioning every decision I made. Whereas now there's that moment of doubt, but I think that is my clear sign it's a no. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what have you been doing to help you?
Well, one thing that I have noticed, and this is just something that's kind of like floating around for me to grab it and notice it and be like, oh, that's good and flow. Number one, there's that. I'm not grabbing on to every single thought and following it down the rabbit hole. I'm just letting
Mhm.
it. I'm like, oh, I noticed this. And then I grab it and I sit with it and I'm like, okay, cool. Um, but I have noticed that prior to maybe the last year or so, maybe 2, year to 2 years, the amount of things that I have going on would have caused me to lose my shit. I mean, it would have been like Hot Mess Express times 10. And now I'm like, okay, I have this kid in taekwondo, these two in baseball, this one in color guard, this one is doing card games and meeting up with his friends. I have my volunteer work, I have my business, I have my podcast, and oh wait, friends and personal time and
Mhm.
before I think that I would have just sacrificed the fun stuff and the self-care because I was
Mhm.
still very much like you have to get your chores done before you have fun, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think for me as recognizing that this Libra stuff that came through in March where it was like you have to have balance and I was like, "Melissa, I don't like this." Um
That
something
was
that I
such a fun realization even for me, though. Can I
uh
orient the audience a little bit to what that
please.
was? So,
Yes.
Ashana and I were voice noting each other through Instagram as good friends do, and, you were just kinda like, ho-hum about like, man, and then this, and I just feel like I'm failing in every area. And I was like, okay, when do I feel like I'm failing in every area, and what am I experiencing? And so I was kind of talking you through that, and then it just light bulb. I was like, bitch, you are a Libra rising, and we are literally in a Libra. Wasn't it full moon or
I
new
think
moon?
it,
Yeah,
it
I think it was a full moon. And I'm like, literally, the whole thing right now is to recalibrate what balance is, because we both struggle with that, where balance means I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do perfectly,
yeah.
and not that it's okay for one thing to take a little more focus than this thing, but like being willing to be imperfect at all of it, and to just allow some of it too. But whenever it hit me, I was like, you bitch, you're supposed to be learning balance. That's easy. That's easy.
Oh, so easy. So easy, right? Literally for the next month, I would just chuckle and I would be like, fuck balance. Like, I have not been a person who strives for balance. I am like ass in opposite extremes all the time. If this didn't
All or
work, I'm
nothing.
in this
All
direction.
or
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. And so I think that I really have done well, shot myself out here, at incorporating what I'm learning from that period of time, because the fun stuff and the self-care has to be balanced in between all the chores and the not so fun things. And that was a new
Yeah. No all work, no all play. But
yeah.
also, don't let me speak for you, but I'm wondering what you think about this. Have you reached a place where you say, if I have to choose which will get more weight, the fun will get
Oh,
the
yeah.
most weight, or
Yeah.
no?
So for me, I had a period of time where I really fought that balance lesson. I was like, I don't like this. This is stupid. I'm not going to do anything for the next like week or two. And I did nothing but what I wanted to do for like an entire week. And I was like, I'm not doing laundry. I'm not cleaning the house. I'm not doing work. I'm just going to sit.
Hey guys, it's me. Emotionally Unavailable is produced 100% in-house by me with no team. So if this show has ever helped you and you want to give back, subscribe to the Patreon. There's several different levels with different benefits in each. Check the show notes and you can see what each tier subscription will get you. I also plan to there's also lots of fun things coming down the pipeline for the Patreon subscribers. So get in early. You can get a workbook, you can buy merch, you can do any of the things, and all of that supports the show to help it keep going. Really appreciate every single one of you. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see what we continue to do together.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
And plus, I also got sick. So
Yeah.
that gave me kind of that opportunity to do that. So I went from the one extreme to the other. And then I came out of that sickness and was starting to feel more alive again. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't like this either. So I'm a very like, I have to experience it for the lesson to sink in. I can intellectualize all day long and be like, oh, that makes sense. But I had to get to that place of, I don't really like this either, because I don't feel like I'm moving towards anything. This has been fun. This has been great. It filled my cup, but I need the balance between the two. And I think for me, when I'm forced to choose which one is more important right now or which one is going to come first, I think I really, really learned to tap into how I'm feeling right then and figure out what I need right then. Whereas before it would have been the rebellious side of me where I was sick of towing the line all the time and fuck it, my fun is going to come first and everybody can just,
Self-sabotage.
yeah. Or it would have been the towing the line, like, nope, I have to get this done first. And then I would have resented it. So it really brought me to
Yes.
myself.
No, and that's such a perfect way to say it, because you have to orient to what you need right then versus, and I know that I've seen on your social media that I know you're juicing and shit again, but I think that it's different to go, I need to introduce some healthier stuff back in my life versus, because I'm just going to let the audience know, part of that conversation was you being like, I'm fucking eating like shit. I'm going to fucking, here's the thing. I'm going on a juice cleanse. I'm going to cleanse my shit. And I'm like, and that's great, but I hear the all or nothing in this. I hear the no room for error that you're going to set yourself up for failure with.
That was what I immediately turned to too. Like,
Well, it's so comforting because when, as much as we don't want people to tell us what to do, God damn it, we love a rule. We love a rule and a structure that we can lean into versus that inner knowing of like, I for loving myself need to nourish myself with something good right now versus I'm going to start a real strict plan that I cannot deviate from in any way. But I mean, I think that's what we were raised to believe, that structure in that way, super strict structure is the only way. And sure, it's one way, but I think this is why I'm going to say some people fail in recovery because, and I feel like I stepped off into something, but not that there's really a way to use certain things recreationally and still whatever. But what I have seen in some recovery communities is going straight for straight-laced. Hardcore, I'm going to go to church. And then do you know those people become the most judgmental fucking assholes I've ever met in my life who they spend Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and, Tuesday afternoon at church. And then they got their Bible studies and then they got all the things because they're so fucking afraid to be out in a world with substances. And it's like, man, our inner knowing is so powerful. And, the last time you were here, I know we touched briefly on feeling like we need a guru, which is just a part of that structure. You know what I mean? Like it's all structure. And as Saturn moved into Aries, all the structure changed. We're in the fire sign, it's in your 7th house. So like, I just think all of that is the same. And we had to learn how to create our own structure and know that we're not just making excuses. We're not sabotaging. We're not going, oh, if I can do this and it's okay. We're not lying to ourselves. I think truly you orienting to what you need right then instead of an overarching plan that you've written down in 17 places and you've got sticky notes on your mirror to remind you not to fuck it up. I think that inner knowing is so important. I'm feeling like I'm talking way too much. I'm sorry.
No, this
My
is
coffee's
this is
got me. My
really
coffee's
good.
got me.
Listen, I'm on day 11 without coffee, and I
So proud of
finally
you.
woke up today with no body pain, and I was like, this is why I did this.
Good
It
for
took
you.
11 fucking days, and I finally felt it today, and I'm like, dang, wow. But this kind of ties into what you were just saying too. I feel like the authentic, like finding the balance and tuning into yourself, that is kind of a harder path, especially when we've been raised to look for the right answer or someone tell me what to do. So after we spoke that day, I'll just like let everyone know, I decided not to go on a juice fast, not to do a cleanse, not to do a detox. I decided to just start a journey with myself. And it looked like being very present in every moment and asking myself, like, my motive behind why. Why am I reaching for another cup of coffee right now? Do I really want it? Because if I do, okay, I'll have the cup of coffee. Is it a habit? Is it comfort because there's something else uncomfortable coming up for me? I actually found through this journey, I didn't like the way coffee was making me feel. And yet I kept drinking it because that was so normal for me. And anyone who follows me, they know my lifelong, I mean, I was drinking coffee when I was 11 months old. But
Oh my God, girl.
yeah. Yes. So I have podcast episodes about this, blog posts about this. It's been a thing. But aside from the coffee, there were like stimulating foods that I would turn to. And I literally wouldn't even be hungry. And so that was a huge moment for me to tune into myself and face some really uncomfortable feelings in the moment. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. Like there were a couple of days where I would just walk around and not know what to do. And I had to be with myself in that not knowing what to do to realize, oh, it's because I always dealt with this by doing something and by
Mhm.
finding the next thing to distract from it. And so I just like felt the feeling and then I made it through it. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, well, what am I going to do now? This is exciting because now I'm not trapped in that cycle of shame for what I did to get out of the feeling or, the next thing. And it was
Exactly.
harder that I didn't have a regimen to follow. I didn't have, well, at 6 o'clock, I'm going to have my next juice. Well, at 4 o'clock, I'm going to have my meal today, right? I didn't have that. So I was in this unknown place of, I don't know when I'm going to want to have a juice. I don't know when I'm going to want to have another coffee. I don't know, but I'm going to have to trust myself enough to get to that next point and make that choice in the moment. And that was
Yeah.
really hard for me because of the whole no balance thing. So,
Yeah.
I definitely can pull that out and insert it into other healing circles where we would
Right.
run to someone telling the answer because that's in some ways, sometimes it's easier.
You're absolutely right. And I'm so glad that this is the corner we just turned because I was thinking I'm picturing a couple people I know in particular being like, "What the fuck are we talking about here? Coffee and shit." But not because I care, but I was just giggling to myself. But couple things came up for me while you were saying that. And one is it matters, it applies to everything because for you were reaching for coffee and you were reaching for chocolate, whatever, me too. But
Yep.
other people are reaching for alcohol and other
Mhm.
people are reaching for drugs. And I have
Yep.
zero judgment about that. I'm not speaking to anyone right now that doesn't have a problem with that. If you're like that ain't me, that ain't you. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people who know something's got to shift in my habits and I don't
Yep.
know what that is. I hope that this resonates with those people.
Mm.
Sex, sexting, porn, you know what I
Shopping.
mean?
I was
Shopping.
shopping
Oh
a lot.
god, shopping was a big one for me.
Why do I keep doing this?
Shopping was such a huge one for years for me. I haven't had the ability to do that in years, but oh, it was so big, and the shame that would cover me after a
Yep.
shopping binge. I mean, the shame, and it would feel so good up until it hit my bank account, and
Mhm.
but then guess what? I didn't even have to feel that too long because I'd avoid my bank account, and them Temu packages, they got to where they was arriving pretty quickly, and they were huge, and I got to feel all the dopamine.
Yep.
Yeah, shopping. Yeah, that was a really big one for me. Right now, I feel okay about my caffeine consumption. I have been on like a schedule with that for a long time to like what doesn't feel like too much. You know what I mean? I could probably do less. Um, I eat really shitty. I'd love to care more about that.
I'd love
But
to
I
hear it. I love how
also,
you put that.
yeah, I can't care. And I do get offended very easily when people are like, then you don't love yourself. You're fucking right, Tina. Okay, I haven't gotten there yet. Okay, I don't love myself to that level. You're fucking right. Good job. Are you proud? You called me out. I don't give a fuck. Um, but then let's see. What was the other thing that came up? Mm, shit, who knows? But I really like that because we are all doing some form of. Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. Okay, so along these lines, something that I'm like I think it's kind of just now in this second hitting me what a deeper, intimate understanding of this one thing that I've gotten just in the last 2 weeks, where you said, I have to stop and I have to feel shit, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm getting much better at that and didn't realize where I was still lacking there in terms of intellectualization versus feeling. And it really wasn't until I started getting better ways of explaining it to other people that, like, I could get that deep into what it felt like
Mhm.
without swimming anything, and I think it's because I'm not analyzing it, I'm literally just being still. Like, when it comes up, I'm not, if I feel I'm in my brain, I get out of it and I just go, what? Oh,
Yeah.
that's it. Literally. Oh, because it does. It hurts. Shit hurts. Whether it's stress, whether it's grief, whether it's you hurt my feelings, jealousy, whatever it is, when it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
And so as much as like, I'm so glad that when people are starting to work on that stuff, it is important to teach them about their wounding and where it came from so that they have an understanding. But I'm also so glad to be at a point of the least resistance I've ever felt in my life to anything. I'm not saying it's gone all the way, but like when it's there, I'm like, hey, what is that? Huh. Ooh. And then breathe and go on. Like it really is that simple. Sometimes I'm moving on a little too fast. I notice that, but I'm not going to shame myself for that, you know? And that's really been the last couple of weeks is, well, maybe the last month actually is just like, where am I still resisting? And how can I make it more simple to just be like, oof, I feel it, you know? And I've been explaining to other people like, yeah, so you know that feeling that you just described to me? Like you get so jealous when you see this? What if you just go, God damn it, I'm jealous. And
Mm-hmm.
pause and just feel how that feels in your body.
Yep.
Cry if you need to, rage if you need to for a second, and then move on. How much easier would life be?
Yep.
So that's kind of where I've been.
No, that came up for me too this week. And you said like we resist it. And I noticed that my biggest resistance was in trying to pathologize myself or trying to get to the bottom of it. Right. Even though I tell people not to do that, I do it to
Yeah.
myself. So I had this speech that I got signed up for, and I thought I was just going to be like setting up a table for my business. No, I was doing a speech. I was terrified. And I don't ever get any less nervous for public speaking every single time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like you'd think this would be easier by now. No, I'm shaking. I'm like, ugh. And so I just tell people, like, look, I'm here to talk about the nervous system today. I'm nervous. My system is nervous. Like, bear with me. So I approach it in a very relatable and human way. I hope, right? I hope that's how I'm coming across. And by the end of the speech, people were coming up to my booth and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing! Like, we love you so much!" Like these little, like they were probably my grandma's age, but my grandma died. But they were just like holding my hand and they were like, "I just want you to know that you are just precious." And I was like, "You are."
Oh.
So I was sitting with that and how good that felt. But I also noticed this massive imposter syndrome came up. And I was like, I feel like I'm a big phony and they're coming up
Mm.
congratulating me for something that I just bullshitted my way through. Like, and I was just like talking that through in a voice note to another friend. And she sent me one back, bless her heart. She's got so much Pisces in her chart too, which I love. She's like the only person I've ever met that's more mysterious than me, which I'm like, I like this. But she was like, I think that you're getting in your head a little bit too much to try to figure out the imposter syndrome part of it. And I think that that's when you're going into the Virgo a little bit more. And I think right now you need to just like let it flow and let it be and enjoy how it felt to have those people come up and give you that reassurance. And that was really helpful for me because it reminded me that I get in my own way and I like try to like self-sabotage my own happiness sometimes without really.
Exactly.
Why?
Yes, because your inner world says it's not safe to be seen. It
Yep.
is not safe for me as a woman, as a mother, to take up space
Yep.
and to be seen. So when you are seen, you must make it a bad experience so that you can confirm that your
Yep.
outer world's got to match your inner world. And you leaning into the intellectualization of the imposter syndrome is you avoiding allowing your nervous system to expand through that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, oh, that feels a little weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't
So
necessarily
be that
still know how
way.
to receive this. Yeah, yeah. But
Good at
I mean,
explaining it, making a story, like,
oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that is such a good example. That is such a good example because first of all, we're not any more advanced than other people. You know what I mean? We're just intentional and we want to learn from it. So we do I'll say we spend a lot of time examining our behavior. That I don't know that part is the part that is the problem. It's when we start to assign meaning to it that it matters. And I have done this exact same thing. That's so funny. We're always on the same fucking path. But that's been the thing, is going, we again, pathologize. This has been the big word in my astrology, in everything.
Yep.
You don't need to pathologize everything. You don't even need to understand it. You just got to feel it. You have to say, that's okay. That's okay that that's what came up. So used to, remember, so many of our conversations have been, a good spiritual person would do this. A good human would do this. A good mother would do this. And now I'm like, but I already decided I am good. To my fucking core, I am good. I never said I was going to be perfect. Once I laid down that cross of perfectionism, I have very much embraced the fact that I'm not perfect. So what's the problem here, Malisa? Oh, I just have to flow and fucking allow feelings to happen. It's that pause for me that's helped me integrate, where I literally just go, "Ugh," Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel good. Sometimes it literally feels like I just went on a roller coaster. Sometimes my chest is so tight, depending on what came up. Sometimes my jaw's clenched. I'm, hurting from it, and my neck and shoulder are fucked up from it. But I stop and I go, whew, shit. And then the other integration for me is being the sweetest, loving, most nurturing mother to myself ever. I mean, like, I have a client who I'll be like, and then you just got to be your mama. You got to be the mom you didn't have and whatever. And she'll be like, yeah. And she'll start talking shit to herself. And I'm like, girl, that's not it. That's not it. I'm talking the shit that everybody would call us crybabies when we were kids for. The stuff that to this day, if people saw how I talk to myself, let alone like my dog.
Being outside is good for us. It's that simple. And trails make it easy for us to walk, bike, and be active outside in our own backyards. On the trail, we see people moving, connecting with their communities, making the places where they live great. For 40 years, Rails to Trails Conservancy has led the way, creating trails across the country, making it safer and easier for everyone to get outside. They want you to get involved. Find your trail and start your journey today at railstotrails.org/iHeart and follow at Rails to Trails on social.
Daughter or whoever's upset, they'd be like, you're coddling them. Goddamn right I am, because that's what we fucking need. People need to be coddled. And I think it took the level of grief that I have experienced to understand that, because I have never in my life been able to look at someone and identify. I remember a day I said to Brian, like, I fucking need to be babied right now. Like, I need to be held. I need you to make me some soup and bring it to me. Like, I need a warm blanket. I need all of these things right now. Like, I want you to fucking treat me like a child, because I am like railing inside. And it worked. And then as I've made the discoveries of like, hey, shit, this actually helps. And I did talk about this on another episode, but I had the most intense, beautiful conversation with my oldest child, where I've wanted to do inner child work with him, because I'm the one who put all them demons in him. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. But we were having a thing where he, his grief is very loud, and it's been tricky. But like, the agitation was really intense there for a while. And I swear to God, it's been so good since this interaction. But so much of it was directed at his sister, because I don't treat her the way I treated him when he was little. I allow her to be a human. And sometimes it is very loud and very messy. And I don't do it perfectly. Let me tell you that much. I'll still be like, oh, I fucking should. You know what I mean? But like, in a totally different way than I did with him. He wasn't allowed to be a child, because my every sense of validation was, how are you behaving?
Yeah.
What is other people's impression of us? You know what I mean? And I did cause a lot of harm in him, and I get that. But it was that resentment, and it was just coming up, and finally he fucking said the words. Like, I had been gently being like, I get why this is happening. I'd been trying to be really gentle, but he was being an asshole one day and actually just spewed some shit, right? I literally have never worked so hard to stay regulated in a conversation. Like, I was like, this is your opportunity, honey. Like, this, you got to breathe through this shit. Let the boy talk. And then I just started doing all the things I say to myself and was like, you are, you were such a special little boy. You deserved way more tenderness, all of the shit that I have ever wanted to say to him and all the shit I wish somebody had told me and that I've had to tell myself. That's the stuff. It was never your fault. You are special. You've always been special. And you're wonderful. You're beautiful, like a little angel. Like nobody deserved the shit that you've gotten. And it also wasn't about you.
Yep.
And that's what I was saying to him. And I was like, you were the most perfect little boy. Like, you didn't deserve a mom who made you feel anything other than that. Oh my God, we were both bawling. I'm about to cry now. But it changed everything. Like, he needed that so fucking bad.
Right.
And I've wanted to give it to him for so long, but I was scared. He kind of mouthy. He had Gemini rising and a Virgo moon. So he kind of mouthy and a Scorpio sun, okay? So, like, I was really nervous, but I did it and it felt so good. And I have seen the difference it made. And that's why I'm saying, you guys, this is what you need. You have to coddle the shit out of yourself. Anything that feels like the right thing to do probably isn't, because that's all your subconscious programming.
Yeah. Yeah, I get people it kind of still bothers me, but even like coaches and things for my son and my daughter, like apparently it's perfectly okay for me to treat my daughter the way I do. Like I don't get as many comments with her. But especially with my son, there's a lot of men who like it really threatens them almost is what it feels like with the way that I'm treating him. And they want to make comments of like, oh, he'll be fine. Oh, he just needs to toughen up. Oh, and I'm
You're
just
tough,
like,
son. Yeah.
yeah. And he looks at
Yes.
me really confused and he's like, why are they saying
Yes.
these things? And I'm like, I know
Yes.
that's
And
how we
that's
were
the shit
raised.
right there. Yes.
Yeah.
I, I have to constantly say, like, guys, we're not their coaches. We're not. And we're not their bullies. We're so afraid of them not being able to withstand the outer world outside of our care that we
Yep.
will do things to try to make them resilient against that. Guess what? You're making them less resilient. And then also, you're not their safe place, because guess what? The world's going to beat the shit out of them no matter what.
Yes.
No matter
Yes.
what you do, be their fucking home. Let them
Yep.
come home to you and cry their asses off, especially little boys. I mean,
Yep.
I do think I have to make this point. I never felt any more permission to cry than I feel like, like we were told a little different reasons on why. Big
Yeah.
girls, be tough, be strong, whatever. But we weren't
Yes.
called pussies and our characters weren't attacked if we cried. But we
Yeah.
were crybabies just like boys were. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
And
there is
seen
that.
as less capable. Like we were less trusted and less capable if we cried, which is very
Yes.
interesting as a woman.
Well, and I have to believe this has something to do with mothers and sons. I don't know what, but I have noticed that men see crying as manipulation,
Mm-hmm.
an attempt
Yep.
at manipulating.
Yep.
And I'm like, is it because it does bring up some feelings for you? And so you have to shut it down. That little baby empathy in you is coming out and you don't like the way it feels? Is that
Yeah,
what
what do I
this
do
is?
if it
Because
just doesn't
why?
feel good? What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah, you bitch. Yes, yes. But yeah, I have a client who I've been so impressed with her level of trust in me. Like, she just, like, because I would be so fucking defensive if people said half the shit I've said to her, but she's so fucking cool. She just takes it. I'm not mean to her, but like, I'm also not a liar, and I'm really real, because you just never know when someone's schedule is going to change or whatever. And I'm not about, if you want to stay my client for years, hell, I'll take it. But like, I don't want you to feel like you have to. And it's been so fun to watch these clients' entire lives change in a few weeks. I was saying that thing to her, like, honey, like, she has to have a soft place to land, because the world's going to do that no matter what. She was like, you're so fucking right. And I just kept thinking about it. And I remember going through this with my oldest. I was so fucking mean trying to make him tougher for football that he was far too young to be enrolled in to begin with. He was a little baby, he was like 5 or 6. God damn. And I was embarrassed because of a friend, like the way she spoke about it. And I should have not cared, but I did a lot. All I cared about was what people thought about me as a mother.
Yep.
And so I remember being so rough with him one time trying to help him practice, and he cried, and I've never forgotten what that experience. And right then I was like, something's got to shift. I don't know what. I mean, I was the most emotionally immature person that I knew at the time, but I just knew, like, I don't know what the answer is, but that's not it, and I'm not doing it again. And that was the beginning of shifting. And that's why I know we're afraid. And I know now why my grandma was so fucking ate up if I was overweight. I get it. She didn't want me to that was the worst thing you could have was a fat child back in the 80s. But
Yeah.
bitch, I wasn't even fat, but whatever. But like, she was afraid this people were going to hurt me, and she wouldn't know what to do if they hurt me. And guess what? You're not going to know what to do when they hurt your babies. You're just not. You sit there and you go, I'm so sorry that happened, honey. And I'll cry with you now. Like, whereas before I thought I had to teach you or
Yeah.
even, and I'm not even saying like 2 years ago before. I'm talking about like, 6 months ago, I didn't know how to hold you in that moment. And now I'm like, come here,
Yeah.
tell me about it. And
That's
that's
literally
truly
all it
all they
takes.
want.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's all
all
they
it
want is to be able to tell you and be held.
Because
Maybe
you've
you
gotta
make
think
them some
about it.
soup.
Yeah. It like, if they do go out and people do hurt them, and you've been the person that has been tough on them to try to prepare them for that moment, it's way less likely that they're gonna see you as that soft place to land to come back to and talk to you about what hurt them. Because guess what? They probably don't feel like they're going to get any sympathy for it. And so they need to just toughen up and move on. And so, by that token, yes, we are creating like stronger, tougher people, but we're
Sure.
creating people who are so emotionally closed off that that's not true resilience. That's not true strength. That
Right.
we're raising a generation of people who grow up and have hella anxiety because we don't know how to handle anything.
Yes.
For myself.
Not just anxiety. We have depression, we have substance use, we have um what was I thinking? Oh, autoimmune disorders.
Yes.
If
Yep.
y'all don't think your autoimmune shit's not coming from all this shit you've stuffed down, baby, you better figure it out.
Yep.
Because that's what happens. Your body starts forgetting how to live and be normal and do what it's supposed to do when you have filled it with all of the rage of unspoken shit.
Yep.
I can't believe that I haven't suffered more. I mean, thankfully, anytime something's flared up, I just changed my diet really quick to, get it back under control. But oh God, I swallowed everything. That's what internalization means, is to never talk about shit. And then the story that I was telling myself was that, like, people don't know how to help me, so why tell them? I
Mm.
thought that I thought people had to have the right words, and I
Yeah.
didn't understand that the reason no words ever felt right is because it felt icky and gross to share. Because I
Yep.
was scared. I didn't like the way it felt to be seen, and I didn't like the way it felt to be vulnerable. And so it felt icky, and then I got pissed at whoever tried to show up for me.
Mm.
I pushed them away because they just didn't know. So then I was like, see, it's not safe to tell anybody anything that's going on ever. And
We could
that's how
do
I
like a
became a person
whole
who shouldn't.
episode. I think we need to do an episode on, and I don't know what to call this, but I've noticed this coming up with myself a lot in the past. Not so much now because I see it now, so that's cool. But even with clients, sometimes we'll have discussions about this where it's like when we've been through difficult things, we really want people to show up for us in the way that we want them to show up for us. And people may be showing up, but we're pissed because it's not the way that we want them to show up. And a big
But
part of it,
can we even identify what we
what we,
actually want them to do?
yep, yep.
I couldn't.
That could be a whole episode just to dig into
Yes.
different dynamics of that.
Because that's been my number one lesson in grief.
Oh, yeah.
Like, being so determined to not do this the way I did at 15, which let's hope I wouldn't, but shit, a couple years ago I would have done it worse, I'll tell you that much. I could feel how badly the words were fucking hurting me. Like, and some of it was justified. Some people said some shit, but most of it really wasn't. And it wasn't until I got to where I was like, and you're allowed, if it
Mm.
hurts you, that's okay. Like, you're allowed to say, "Ugh, I hate the way that feels," when someone says that.
Yep.
And then as soon as I gave myself that permission, it relinquished all of the shit. But
Yeah.
the last time we talked, I remember, I don't know if I was just hinting about what it was or if I actually said it, but in that resistance, I was like, a good spiritual person would, an enlightened person would know these people's intent is to help. So why am I whatever, you know? And
Yep.
it was like, okay, well, I do know that, but it still hurts. And so I was like, so just let it. Like,
Yep.
and when I feel the actual physical electrical zap that I feel every fucking time it happens, I just let it zap me. I will feel that shit in every cell of my body for 10 seconds and be like, "Ugh." I mean, that's what it feels like, truly. It's crazy, but it does. And then I'm like, okay, I felt it. You're allowed to, if you feel better, you all right? What you need? Are you still mad? No? Okay, great. I mean, it really is just an attunement
Yep.
because I am allowed to feel that. But I also know the bigger truth. I don't want to push people away. I appreciate them so much for trying, even continuing to try, even podcast episode after episode after episode, and me being like, oh, people are pissing me off. You know what I mean? Like, because I am trying to be very honest about this journey, because this is a huge part of vulnerability, is to say, and I don't know what feels good. I'm learning now what feels good, and that is to actually ask me. You know, I don't like all the flowery shit that's close-ended. Well, good. Thank you. Do you feel better? Do you feel like you supported me because you said all the words? Because it's like, I hope blah, 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 and then that's it. And I'm like, well, I guess you don't want to know. Today was a real shit day then. You know what I mean? Like, versus, hey, how are things going? Like, hey, I was thinking about you. You doing all right now? Like, what's today been like? How's your day going? How's your week been? You know, something like that. That's something I can actually, the truth, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
I I don't like any of this. I don't like that my fucking kid's dead and people have to ask me how I'm doing. So, but I can recognize that now and go, oh, so nothing is actually perfect because this is grief and it all feels shitty. You know what I mean?
I felt that.
But yeah, but like there is good, and I go, oh, that felt like that because I'm having some resistance to being vulnerable. I don't want to answer your question. You know what I mean? Like, that's so much of it is why that shit bothers you. It's like you don't want to talk about it. I'm so hesitant to talk about it in the moment. Really easy to be like, oh, last week was rough. But like, you message me on a bad day, it's always hard for me to say I'm having a bad day. I will do it because I know I have to.
Yeah.
And then I go, fucking universe, sending someone on a bad day to ask me how I'm doing. I fucking hate you, you know? But you do it.
What is it about being in the moment versus after that's more difficult for you?
Well, because it's real. It's like, well, probably partly this, because I don't want the next step to be somebody to try to fix it. You know what I mean? That's agitating to my whole spirit. It's rare to have people like you who are willing to just be like, oh, goddamn. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks. Most people are uncomfortable when you say it's a bad day. I have gotten a heart response to that. I have gotten complete silence to that. I have gotten lots of flowery words. I don't get like mad about it anymore, but that was the shit at first that was like in
This is why I
okay.
people.
Right. But I also was like, but the hackles go up because my subconscious wants to push you away to confirm I can't talk about this. Because the next step for me really, and this is where I've had to get to, is if what they say really does impact me, like really does, I have to tell them that. No more holding it in, giving them the benefit of the doubt. So I don't want to say anything because I always give you the benefit of the doubt, but that doesn't mean it doesn't piss me off. And so, especially when the news stories first went out, people's response to that was very irritating. And I finally kind of had to just start saying it. Like, I actually am okay that I did that. And it wasn't hard to do that. And, you know, like certain things, And then the parts that were hard, I had to say that too. And so really I was like, no, honey, see, you just automatically flip to, and now I have to push you away. Because anytime my brain goes, this is exactly why, that's now my clue that
Yep.
I am trying to confirm a narrative so that my outer world can match my inner world. That I have a subconscious narrative that I'm just trying to confirm. Every single time I think that's exactly why, then I'm like, what pattern am I trying to like
Yep.
continue here, you know? But I did have to learn what I actually like. And actually, we had our last grief group on Tuesday. And our last assignment was to make a card for an imaginary bereaved person, and the card that would have been perfect for you to receive. And so I looked at Bryson and I said, I'm just doodling for most of this, because I could tell he was going to try to copy because he didn't know like what, what he would say. So I did. I drew a heart and shit. And then I was like, oh, I actually do have the perfect thing. So I wrote something like, this is my love for you in action. And I created a menu of things I have the capacity to do to show up for you. And I was like, I can do laundry. I can bring you a home cooked meal. I can sit with you. I can listen. I can cry. I can answer emails. I can send emails. Like I can do these administrative tasks. I can help you clean. I can take your dog to the groomer. Like I just made a menu of things that I had the capacity for, because I was like, what really did help? People
Yep.
showing up for that physical shit really did help. And the people who have been willing to just fucking sit and who don't get uncomfortable every time I bring something up about him. Because, I mean, he is in my daily conversations all the time, and I do register discomfort on people's faces. Like, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? Or even it makes you sad that I talk about him. I'm caring a lot less about that. Like, well, guess you better get used to it, or don't talk to me. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But I started to realize what really did help. And I mean, it's helped me to show up for people in a more tangible way as well. Like, what do people really need? They just want to be seen. They want to be held. That's it. Like,
Yep.
you can't fix anything, but you can make a lot better by just being there. Can't fix anything. And I get why we do that. I did it too. All these years working in grief, and I did it too. So I'm really not mad at anyone, but I do know most of any of the things that were beyond the normal. Oh, that kind of stung a little bit, beyond that, because that's normal. But I just realized, no, baby, you really love to push people away so you don't have to be vulnerable. That's what you love to do. And I started, when I made the comparison between losing my dad and losing Jake, I could see where it all started and all the things I've done all these years to build layer upon layer upon layer between me and everyone around me.
Wow. That, when you're catching yourself and you're like, every time I say this, I know that's my cue. Like, "Ugh, that's what I'm doing right now." What you described is really, really difficult for some people. And I just want to like normalize that. Like, number one, kudos to you because you're doing it and it's really fucking hard. But number two, if anybody is struggling with that, like, it doesn't have to come in some big shining moment where it's like, oh, now I see it and I'm going to notice it every time. Sometimes that also
Mm-hmm.
feels like looking back and being like, oh, damn, I did not handle that the way I. Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. I know we talked about that the last time you were here too. Like, well, and that's what accountability is to go, how do I feel after that? How do I feel after that? And I really just had to get very honest and say, for whatever reason, you don't have to have a reason, you feel a little resentful, a little bit bothered by that.
yep.
So fucking say it. Why are you still so scared to say it? And sometimes I am still scared to say it and don't. I don't always say it. Like if somebody bothers me, I don't always say it. But I'm learning even how to deal with that, because before it'd be like, enlightened people say what they need to say. You know what I mean? Like just all these labels. And I'm the one preaching all the time about labels and the weight they carry and whatever. And I'm like, baby, that's all this is. It's so free to be like, I'm a fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm a fuck up. That's all right.
I think that's kind of the secret behind like we all just need to be coddled, right? Because when something difficult happened, if we could have just been coddled in that moment, we would have made it through that moment and then we would have been a little less bothered by the things that happened because we knew it was going to be okay. We had a safe place. And like massive grief aside, like huge things like what you've been through, that's its own ballpark here. Yes, it does have some of the same, like you need to be coddled, right? We all need that. But I'm talking like little everyday things. This is a testament to why we need that coddling, because now, like you said with your client, oh, be the mom for yourself. Okay, I'm going to beat myself up. What? No, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, that is so
Yeah.
legit. She was literally, I was making her tell me some things that she would say to herself. And I was like, we're missing the mark, babe. We're missing the mark a little bit. But that, I mean, even though it wasn't as mean as what her mom would say, it was very much in the get it together kind of vein. It's like,
Yeah.
honey, that's not it. Like, I'm talking the mom, if you could not have to tell another human on this earth what your deepest desires for a mom really are,
Yep.
talking about that mom. Because I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck who you are. I know there's at least one moment in your life that you can remember sitting there going, I really wish like this. I wish I had.
Yep.
I remember when Charlie was in the hospital, she was like a month old. Sorry, audience. I know I told the story a couple times, but she was hospitalized with sepsis, and because she had dilated kidneys that we didn't know about, and ureteral reflux. So when she peed, it shot backwards, and had dilated kidneys. Got E. coli in her urine, shot back into her dilated kidneys. So she was septic, and she was hospitalized for like 2 weeks. And I remember just getting zero sleep that first 48 hours because some of it was spent in hospital admission, IVs, all the things. This baby ain't trying to sleep. And I remember a lady from work who was older. She showed up, and I got my first postpartum period while this was going on. And she showed up, and I had been asleep because I had them. Baby, we moved in. We brought Charlie's little crib. We brought all kinds of shit. And so I had them switch out the baby crib for a bed for me. And I kind of just like groggily went to the door, and she was like, oh my gosh, should I wake you up? And I was like, yeah, it's okay. She was like, no. And then she went and tucked me back in bed. And she left, and I remember crying, not for very long because I was so tired, but I was like, I fucking need a mom so bad right now. Like, because that tucking me in, I like thanked her profusely when it was all over, because I'm like, you have no idea how bad I needed that right then, because I did. I needed someone to see, like, you, this baby's mother, fucking needs some nurturing, because we think coddling is like, well, it's like those people who, when you scrape your knee, oh, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Am I fine? Do you see that my fucking knee is bleeding? I'm not. Yes,
It
children will
hurt.
cry and act like it means that their entire leg has fallen off and whatever. And the problem is that you're getting dysregulated by the noise. So
Yeah.
just keep yourself regulated. That's when I realized, like, oh no, the goal is to stay regulated regardless of the external stimuli. Like, of course she's dysregulating my ass. She's loud and dramatic.
Yeah.
But oh, it's my job to go, even though this is really annoying the shit out of me right now, it's going to go away a lot faster. And it does.
It
And I'm
does.
like, oh my God, that's the worst fucking thing that's ever happened to you. Do you need a Band-Aid? Would you want me to get the good stuff? Yeah, you good? Okay. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. It's over in 5 fucking minutes versus the years that I was like, baby, you fine. You fine, and what you crying about again. Just always crying with your ass. I mean, yeah, you get a kid that cries a lot more, I promise.
This reminds me, or how are we on time? 55 minutes. How long is the show? An hour?
Oh, I mean, I'm releasing the episodes an hour and a half tomorrow, so
Okay.
I'm on your time, babe.
Story time. Nova, my 3-year-old. Was it Nova? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this would have been anyway, one of my kids. Something happened that was really painful. It was Nova. I know it was Nova. I just don't know what happened or when it was. Maybe she like fell somewhere or something, but she needed to talk through it. And this was such a message to me from the universe. I was like, holy shit, the clouds have parted, because she would bring it back up for like 3 months straight. She would bring the situation up and she would tell me what happened again. And normally, like, especially with my older children, I would be like, yes, honey, I know. Yes, drop it. Oh my God, let it go. Yes, we know. But now I'm like, I know. That was so scary, wasn't it? Like that, I know that scared me too. And I think I think she fell or something. Oh, no, she got in a fire ant bed, and I didn't know, and so by the time I came around the corner of the house, she was on the ground, like, covered.
Yeah.
I had to get them off of her, and then there were ants all over me, so I ran her to the sink, and we got washed off. But we were able to and mama found you, right? And we got the ants off, and, like, remember the end of the story, like, we washed it off, and everything was okay, and she still needed time to continue telling the story, but each time she would get herself closer to the ending of the story, and then she
Mhm.
told the ending, and then she never brought it up again. But it was so powerful for me to see that of, like, that was a
Mhm.
for her, and she's processing that, and yes, I held her in the moment. Yes, I coddled her in the moment, but it was still scary, and so she needed to keep talking it through, and I remember in my first marriage, I needed to keep talking about the infidelity and about the other woman, and I
Yes.
to keep
Yes.
and he would be like, "Why are
Uh-huh.
you bringing this up? Oh my god, let
Uh-huh.
it go," and I'm like, "Because I'm not over it. I still haven't gotten to the end of the story." And so that
Yes.
full circle for me of, like, sometimes this is ongoing too.
Right. And it helps you to understand that so that you're not beating yourself up because even though other people are asking you that, you're asking yourself that too. Like, why can't I just get over this? It
Yep,
hasn't moved. It hasn't moved yet. The story's not over yet. And I mean, I think I could apply that in so many ways to grief too. Like, I do talk about him a lot because it helps, but man, in those early days, I certainly did not mind telling the story of finding him over and over and over because that was some really fucking traumatic shit. And
yep,
so, like, oh, repairing my body really, it took feeling safe enough to share as many times as possible, like what happened in the exact order. And now I don't mind sharing it, but I don't have a need to. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to talk about it as much as I did for a full month, I think. And this is why so many people when they talk about grief 20 years down the road, when people are like, "Oh, they're not over it yet." Well, it's not that I'm not over I mean, yeah, I'm not because 'cause you're never gonna get over that. But
yep,
it's not that people aren't living a full life in spite of this, that this is part of their DNA that they're just working through, and that's
yep,
all. Like, I know people who kinda judged someone who had, like, a stillbirth, like, 25 years ago, and I'm like, "Well, I don't know, I guess it's one of those things you're not gonna understand unless you experience, so let it go, man. Why are you ate up about it? Why
I
does it
know.
bother you
Yeah,
that they're talking about it?" And I guess that's a good question to ask ourselves too. Why does it bother us? When it's our children, it's fear. It's fear that they're not going to move past it. And for me, I could go to catastrophe immediately where I'm like, and now they're going to be a serial killer,
yep,
or now they're going to be a heroin addict, or now they're never going to have a functioning relationship.
yep.
I mean, literally everything was a catastrophe, everything. And
But
so we're
they're
afraid.
borrowing from your nervous system in that moment, so you're just making that more likely to happen. I had that realization, and I was like, I
Yes.
sabotaged that too.
Yes. And if you want children who are going to have that ability to keep pressing forward in spite of, yes, life's going to hit them a lot.
Yep,
Life is beautiful. It really is. It's this human experience is so amazing, but fuck it really can fuck with you a lot of times. And there are very hard times, but the way to get through that is the love that you cultivate yourself.
yep,
So, like, if you're not feeling worthy and deserving because you had a caregiver who told you you were a pussy for crying, or you're a crybaby, or told you, be strong, be tough,
get over
big
it,
girls don't cry,
move,
you know?
keep going.
Yeah, move on. Move on. Yeah. Versus, oh, yeah. And I can see why it's so hard for people to do that if they haven't done the work because they don't get that.
Yeah,
I didn't even understand to this level of intimate understanding until I started to provide that care for myself.
yep,
And man, I'll tell you, it's all day, every day where I'm like, honey, what's wrong? Like, what happened? Just
But
like I would want someone to talk to me.
tell me if this is true for you. I think it is. Actually, I know it is, but this was me. If anyone would have tried to talk to me that way, I would have been like,
Oh, I would have fucking,
I don't need that.
raged.
Why are you talking to
I
me?
would have raged.
So it's just funny that like that's what we need the most, and then we push it away. And I just think like all these little babies out there that I'm visualizing that didn't get what
Mm-hmm.
they needed in the coddling, and now we grow into adults and we push away the one thing that we need the most. And it's like, what is that? Like, are we rebelling against it because it's like, no, I'll be okay without it. I'm fine. Like I'm sure it's different for
Mm-hmm.
every person, but that's an interesting concept.
Well, and I kind of just drew an interesting connection here too. Maybe you'll be able to help me formulate this, but I'll talk to women specifically. But women who would say, I don't need that shit, right? They don't need words of affirmation and they don't need physical touch, right? But they need acts of service. To me, acts of service is coddling. Like, it's let me lift a weight off of you a little bit. Because it's our mental load that will get us down and out, right? And so when someone comes in and says, honey, what can I do to make things a little bit easier for you? To me, that's what acts of service are, is let me just take a little bit of weight off of you. And then when you get really vulnerable, you can let them really coddle you. Like, the act of service can be, will you tuck me in bed? Like,
Mm,
literally, sometimes
yeah.
that's all it takes for me is like, I don't give a shit that the house is a wreck and there's no food on the table. Like, will you get us some fucking cheeseburgers for dinner and tuck my ass in bed? Like, I just want to be tucked in like a fucking kid. Yes, I
Mm,
will. Thank you. To me, it's all the same. Like, you're not willing to let them do the super loving, nurturing shit, but
yeah.
that is how you feel that same feeling that you'll get is letting them do things for you. Well, if you were to
Yeah.
take it a few steps further and soften just a little bit,
Same thing. Yeah.
it's the same thing.
I almost brought up earlier in this conversation, I was like, how do you feel about the love languages? Because this is like bringing up some affirmations and stuff, or words of affirmation. I feel, and this is just like from my experience, I was very much a words of affirmation and a physical touch. Physical touch was reserved for my siblings, my children, and my partnerships because I didn't get it as a child. That
Mm-hmm.
was foreign to me. But I did notice that once a person hurt me, physical touch was off the table.
Yep.
Words of affirmation were scoffed at. I shut down more and more and more until it became acts of service because it's like, well, nobody else is going to do anything. At least somebody can fucking help me with something. Right. So that was the
Yeah.
only thing that I really valued. You could have bought me a gift and I would have been like, don't waste your money. That was stupid. You need to go
Hated it.
return
Yeah.
it.
Well, okay. Gifts made me feel unseen because they were never the
Oh,
right
yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
And that was a me, not because
That must
people
be a
didn't
Leo
feel.
moon.
Oh my God, it has to be. It's our seen. It's we don't feel seen and we feel misunderstood. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, they were never the right thing, and I mean, occasionally they were, and it really meant a lot to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yes, you fucking see me.
Yeah.
And then words of affirmation, could not receive those. Could not. I'd be like, oh, on the outside, I'd be like, oh, thank you. But inside, I'm like, you fucking bitch. You don't really know me. You know, all this shit. So that was never really a thing, which is why I didn't understand, like, why men needed that so much. Because men do need a lot of external validation because they can't give it to themselves. But I'd always be like, you don't see me fucking needing you to say thank you if I wash the dishes. You know what I mean? That's the classic
Yeah.
argument with
Yeah.
couples. And it got to where I was so resentful. Like, even though I wanted to love him in the way he wanted to be loved, I was so resentful. But it's because, like, it wouldn't have mattered if he did give it to me. I couldn't receive it. I
Yeah.
could not receive compliments. I could not from anyone because it triggered my imposter syndrome because I was wearing so many masks that I was like, you don't know me. So if you did, though, you certainly wouldn't say that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, acts of service did become, but also I have this huge neglect wound. And I always feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders with no one to help me carry it. So anytime I can let somebody else help me carry it, I'm happy as a clam. Happy as fuck. But now I just like, where I've had to understand is that sometimes people can't and like meet your quote unquote need. And just because you verbalized you have this need doesn't give it so much credence that they deserve some assassination of their character for not being able to meet it. You know, that's been a real big lesson. And physical touch was aside from sex, because I was all about that. It's never been a thing for me. I've just in the last 2 years, I've started to become okay with hugs. And like after my kids got past a certain age, height, I don't know what it was, but they weren't seen as babies anymore. It wasn't natural for me to reach for them. Charlie has helped me so much with that because she's such a little lover and she loves touch. And at first it was like me just being very honest with her and going, because she'd say, "Do you want a hug?" And I'm like, I personally
No, I
don't
do.
need that. I don't. But if
Yeah.
you need a hug, you ask.
Yeah.
I will hug you anytime you want, but it's not natural for me because I wasn't hugged enough as a child. So, like, I'm not used to this. And so the more I've hugged her, and now I'm the one like grabbing her and embracing her, and you know what I mean? But she's really helped me with that. And then just the softer I get, the more I'm like, let's touch. But I was also overstimulated all the time. So my nervous system was fried. I couldn't handle external stimuli. I mean, even sounds of nature were too much. You know what I mean? So anyway, shit, I could talk to you for so long. Okay, well, I will include all of our previous conversations in the show notes and just remind the audience where we can find you.
I guess my website. I mean, I'm around. I'm on Instagram though, the most often, and you'll tag me so people could click on my thing. But if they're listening and they go to the show notes, I mean, I'm Way Home Wellness anywhere. So if you type that or type my name, you'll find me.
Perfect. Yeah, and I will. I'll include all of it in the show notes. So thank you so much. This meant so much to me for you to be here today.
No problem. I have missed you. I'm glad we got to catch up a little.
Me too. God, life's been busy. Okay, I'm going to hit stop.
Okay.
Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.
Emotionally Unavailable.
All right, that's it from me. So make sure that you check out the show notes for links. And until next time, let's all just keep swimming.
INDEPE and cut.